much information that I would be remiss to try to come on and give it to my section myself. So I just figured it would just be best for her to come on and give this information for us. And so what I would love to do is to turn this over to Miss Linda Sutton, and she's going to talk to us about civil engagement.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, sisters. I hope everyone is staying safe, continuing to be blessed, and being careful out there. I'm still a little weary. I'm still wearing my mask and trying to be careful because I believe I've got both my shots, but I'm still not trusting all the other folks. But thanks for inviting me. I am well. I work for Democracy in North Carolina, nonpartisan organization here, but my background is in union organizing. I started out as a union organizer with communication workers, organized U.S. Airways reservationists, and done a lot of civic engagement work through the A. Philip Randolph Institute, and I'm really looking forward to retiring for real, because it seems like every time I try to retire, our state throws something in the mix, and I just can't seem to retire. So can everyone see the screen, hopefully?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So I wanted to first talk about how did we get where we are, and I'm gonna try to talk fast. And I always start back with early on, because most people started paying attention around 2008 with Obama's election. But before that, which wasn't given a lot of attention, was the American Legislative Exchange Commission, which is a group of wealthy billionaires and corporate heads who get together, come up with legislation, and send it out through the states. So we've seen that influence here in North Carolina when McCrory was the governor, and we had the budget director really having a lot of influence on cutting programs for the communities in North Carolina. So we really started paying attention then. But after Obama's election, we really had a very low turnout in 2010. I guess people thought we had made it, huh? But also in 2010, we had the census. And that census kind of, just it opened up a lot of money in politics. After the census, people did not vote, and the General Assembly redrew the district lines to disenfranchise a lot of people of color, young people, senior citizens, and we really started going downhill then. Then the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act, Section 4, the pre-clearance section. And after that, the pre-clearance section dropped. Everywhere across this country, people started producing all of these bills to roll back voting rights. And it's still going on today. Then we had, of course, Citizens United case. I hope everybody knows about that. That really allowed all the big money in our politics. And that still was fueling what's going on now, that big money. Then after the redistricting, and we had this big fight for years and years on redrawing district lines, and we can't believe Obama won a second term. I just could not believe it, but he did. And it just continued to go on and on and on. with all of the anti-voter bills happening in the state and across the country. Then we had this major presidential election in 2016, where the candidate who won got fewer votes. I know everybody knows what happened there. And then we went downhill again with white supremacy and a lot of hate crimes going on, and it's just upticking, you know. But we did have more women that ran for office and got elected in 2018. So with that being said, 2018 was a special year, but 2020 really hurt because we had a large voter turnout, but our Black women, their turnout was up too, but it was not at the rate it should be. So on the bottom, I listed in 2020, we had over 233,000 registered Black women that did not vote. They were eligible, but they did not vote. And that hurts. I really want to encourage all of you to help in outreach to those women in a gentle way. So recognizing that we have a big problem in the country with all the anti-voter bills going on, and with voters still being removed from the rolls. 390,000 in January of this year were removed from the voter rolls. And if we continue that way, it makes our job even harder. So we have to make sure that we are continuing to do voter registration because we could, you know, catch some of those who were caught up, who failed to vote, who were removed, and those who were eligible that didn't. But we have to always continue to do voter registration, educate people, get people back into the process. So, you know, Ari Berman, who wrote this book, Give Us the Ballot, would say that voting rights make all other rights possible. And I say, I love that statement. He's almost correct. But because of systematic racism ingrained in our country, we just can't change a person's heart or give a person morals. And it's not the solution to all of our problems. However, it can change the laws and the public policies that govern our lives. Now, we elect those folks, right? And guess what? If we don't vote, they're getting elected by somebody, and they're not going to be the candidate that we want. And so we have to stress upon people the importance of them voting. And we'll talk a little bit more about going beyond voting later. But in the last couple of newsletters, and I think I have something in the upcoming newsletter about 3 main North Carolina bills that we are following and we're advocating against. Election Integrity Act, it sounds like it's good, but no, it's not. It's throwing out thousands of absentee ballots because if your ballot does not arrive by 5 o'clock on election day, you can forget it, okay? 11,000 people would have been disenfranchised last year if that law had been in effect. The prohibit private money in elections. We know that a lot of boards of elections across the state were given money by different organizations to help them hire poll workers and pay people more money and buy equipment. And this bill is saying, no, we don't want any help. No matter if your county has a hurricane and wipes out half of your polling places, you know, a nonprofit or foundation can't give you money to help you out, you know. But we know that in Rockingham County, for instance, they got money specifically to pay their poll workers more money. They sent the money back. Now, can you imagine working during COVID and people are offering money to pay you extra money to work during COVID, the polling places, and the county sends the money back? Um, that's unheard of. But this is preventing anybody from giving them money to help out. Then we've got the ID bill, of course. They're still litigating that in the court system, but now they're putting a lot of tax dollars behind enforcing it. We are still against that. And so these three bills, they're rushing them through. So we are actively pushing against these three bills. And then HB 805 is to prevent rioting and civil disorder bill, which is really going to basically, if anybody is accused or charged with destroying property or accidentally hitting an officer or whatever, they're going to be charged with felonies. And when you commit a felony and you're charged with a felony, you lose your voting rights. And it's actually retaliation against the Black Lives Matter movement, basically. So we're trying to fight against that one also. It passed the House. Some of our friendly legislators voted for it. And part of our responsibility, I believe, is that we educate people in the community about these bills and who voted for and against them. That's part of your education process that citizens, most people don't even check that out. They don't pay that any attention. They just know, oh, this bill passed. But you need to know how that bill passed, who voted for it. And that information is available. I think I had something in the last newsletter. So the other ones on the federal level that we're supporting is the For the People Act, the Voting Rights Advancement Act, and the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And so those should be in your newsletter too. And I think I have the American Families Plan in the next edition of the newsletter also. But there's a website there that you can get all the information about the American Families Plan. I'm telling you, with these four pieces right here, if there's any way we can have any success on these four pieces right here, they will save our democracy, they will save our families, provide jobs. So it is really critical that people get involved and contact their legislators, their Congress people, and just leave a message. The more messages they receive, sometimes it will make a difference, and sometimes it don't because of the makeup. But there was a saying by a Holocaust survivor that said, there may be times when it seems like there's nothing we can do about all the injustices in the world, but one thing we cannot do is fail to protest them and fight back against them. So we definitely have to do that. And I had at the bottom this little note about the American Legislative Exchange Commission, because there is another action that we're going to be pushing out where people can send messages and letters to these corporations who are giving candidates money, and they are coming out with anti-voter bills. And so United Parcel Service, FedEx, and Budweiser are three right now. We are generating letters in opposition to them funding these politicians' elections. And so we need to start paying attention to that too. By contacting our representatives, You can email them, write them a letter, text them, whatever. You can go to their website, find all of their contact information. We need to make sure that people check the voter registration to make sure they haven't been taken off the roll. They can look themselves up in the State Board of Elections lookup site, and they can find out who their House and Senate representatives are, as well as, their local representatives. You can visit Democracy North Carolina's website, just Democracy North Carolina, it'll come up. We've got a link to ncvoter.org, the everything elections, everything voting is there. It's a good resource. And we also have talking points that you can use when you're calling and writing. We make it very easy for you. So what can the National Council of Negro Women do? How you can get involved? First, by building your organization. Become a force within the community. I sit down and I just put a list of all my friends and my coworkers and my relatives and my neighbors, and and I will systematically go through them all and talk to them about whatever the issue is. And so if you can reach out, help build the National Council of Negro Women, and also recruit people to serve on your civic engagement committee, making sure that you have a report at every meeting. At least you're educating people about the issues that are current in North Carolina and nationwide also. I don't know about your collegiate chapters, but that's a good way you could funnel information through your college students on campus. My suggestions were simple, that I'm sure all of you have done: sponsored membership drives, targeting women groups, making sure that you are visible, plan programs for every holiday, every special occasion. Make sure that the National Council of Negro Women are visible. Even when you're going to, if you go talk to a city council or a school board, make sure that the National Council of Negro Women has a statement, and that you come out for or against an issue. You cannot work for or against a candidate or a particular party, but you can take a stand on issues, and especially a lot of the public policy issues. We really need to get more involved in that. So, of course, my favorite is getting involved during election season, okay? Voter registration, education, even getting the vote out. I have all types of programs to assist with that, any help you need. Inviting people to come to your meetings to talk about a specific public policy. That's a good thing to continue to educate the members in your section. And I also love, I love visibility of organizations. They need to know who we are. I love swag. I love t-shirts. I love fans. I love buttons. I love all of that stuff, And I don't know whether you have, a National Council of Negro Women t-shirt that says "Women Vote" or "I Vote" or a button or fan or something. But it's a good way to advertise the National Council of Negro Women, to let them know we are here, we are in the community, and we are making a difference. And I know most do not meet during the summer. That's a good thing. I've never been involved in an organization that took summer off. So that's new for me. But that's a good thing though, because sometimes people work so hard and you do need a break. You have to take care of yourself. You really do. But the organization I'm with now, we have college students that we mentor during the summer. So every summer, June and July, it's a paid internship. I can't take vacation because I have college students, so I have to vacate before or after. But it's a wonderful program where we take college students, especially those who are majoring in political science or social work or administration. and we teach them about all of this civic engagement work. They were speaking at a press conference yesterday at the General Assembly. They one attended a Board of Elections meeting in Greensboro today. So they do this every summer, and it's been a wonderful program. But what I really want you to think about is actually getting involved in helping us reach out to those voters who are removed from the rolls this year, and those Black women who were registered but did not vote. And your numbers are here on the screen. I only put Alamance-Guilford, but I do have them for the whole state. And you see how many people in Alamance, 2,008, 86, and in Guilford, 20,694, that were eligible and registered but did not vote. And we could have a phone bank to call them. We would provide a script, just reminding them about municipal elections are coming up. Wanted to make sure you were ready and know where you're voting, something general. But it makes a big difference. And that's one act that I would love for you to do. The other thing is making sure that people know that it's more than just your vote. You have to do more than just voting. I have my family members, they know every election they're always calling me, well, who am I supposed to be voting for? Well, by now you should be able to figure out who you want to vote for without asking me, but they do that to let me know, oh, I know I better vote. Or my mama or my grandmama is going to raise sand if I don't. And they know I will check their registration out to make sure that they voted. So I hold my family accountable. I make sure that they go. I don't know how we hold other adults accountable, but I can certainly put the pressure on my family members, and I don't mind doing that. But I remember when we used to take all of our kids to the voting booth with us, teaching them. You don't have much civics in school anymore. So that's something that we really need to do. We can start with our families. So civically, you can build relationships with our elected officials. Call them up, make an appointment, talk about what's going on, and ask them a question how they feel about this issue or this bill or this law. You can get on their mailing list. You can even ask the Board of Elections to get on their mailing list to let you know when they're having meetings. You could, volunteer on a city or county or state board and commission. You can learn how city government works, how state government works, how county government works. It's a good way for you to learn the ins and outs of our government by volunteering on one of those boards. And who knows, just tell me who's better fit and prepared to run for public office than National Council of Negro Women. That's right. You are. You are the leaders. You are the top leaders, in my opinion. Black women, we get it done. We do it. And we care. We care about our families. We care for our parents. We care about our community. We are the best ones that are prepared and ready to run for public office and make a difference in our community. Also, follow the voting records, like I was saying. You need to find out who voted for that police bill. You need to find out who voted for it, because it's important to know how your representatives are supposed to be representing you, and they're not even paying attention. So be at the room. If there's an issue at City Hall or a school board or any governmental meeting, National Council of Negro Women ought to show up, make a statement, prepare your statement in advance, and read your statement and get on the record. That's how you become known. That's how you take a stand. That's how you gain respect and credibility. Because I know a lot of organizations, you never hear anything from them, and they're mostly just, little clubs. But when you do work, when you have programs and activities that benefit the community, I've seen so many good programs coming out of the Alamance-Guilford section. I tell you, I've been really amazed. And make sure that the community knows, even after the event, take your pictures and put them all in the paper. You make sure that the National Council of Negro Women is uplifted, and you will go a long way. So I didn't ask for a lot of stuff now, did I? Just a few little things, but I wanted to give you a few little tips on some things. You might can't do everything, but just adopt one or two things, at your section meetings, especially when we get back in person. You can do a letter writing campaign or postcard campaign, or, there's plenty that you can do when you get back in person. So I know a lot of you are probably tired of Zoom like I am. Really, Zoom fatigue has really gotten to me. I've been averaging, 2, 3, sometimes 4 Zoom calls a day. And it seems like I can't wait to go back to the office because this is a lot, but it's a way that we can reach people where they are. So I'm going to stop talking right there and put all of my contact information on the screen. You can email me or call me at any time. Any suggestions, any help that you need, you can go to Democracy North Carolina's website and find lots of ways that you can take action too. So any questions that any of you might have? I know you're all going to a Juneteenth celebration somewhere, right? Yes, yes, I see the heads shaking. Yes, yes, yes. Juneteenth is one of those events that we use that opportunity to get out in the community, meet other community organizations, conduct voter registration, and whatever. And I enjoy it. I always buy some nice African art or some jewelry or a nice, purse or something. So we use holidays to do all types of programs and just getting out there. Just think about Mother's Day. If you have a Mother's Day program at your church, that's a wonderful opportunity to recruit members in your section. Black History Month, all of that, Women's History Month, try not to let any of these holidays go by without having something to uplift National Council of Negro Women. So questions, anything I can help you out, there's my information. Just let me know what you need. I'm here for you. I try not to put too much information in our newsletter. Of course, I can put 3 and 4 pages, but I try to do just 1 page in each newsletter. But surely there's a whole lot more that we can educate the community on. And I know the newsletter is a good way to do that. And I don't know if your sections have individual newsletters or not, but that wouldn't be a bad idea too, to do that. And if I can't answer any questions, I'll refer to Moselle, because Moselle is my I'm gonna say she's my mentor. I met a very good friend of mine, and we talk about politics and what's going on. And so Moselle, you need to be my partner in crime here. But any
Thank you, Miss
questions you
Linda.
have, go
Thank
ahead.
you, Miss Linda. You gave tons of information. Like I said, you done it better than me. I couldn't have done this. So that's the reason why I decided to have you to come on and give this presentation. I appreciate it. It was a a great presentation. Do anyone, I have a few questions in the chat. One is there somewhere where all the community organizations are listed, and where can you get their contact information?
So are you specifically wanting organizations in Alamance and Guilford, right? I don't have a specific place, location, but I do know a lot. Okay, so and it's just according to you want to target organizations that are a good fit for your organization. Women's groups, your sororities, of course, but there are a lot of other groups that do a lot of civic engagement or community work, if it's on food deserts or whatever, if it's on healthcare. There are so many organizations, but if you connect with me, and I can give you contact information for a few groups that I know that you might want to reach out to. Just think about who you know. Build those bridges with people. You'd be surprised, since the council is made up of organizations, so that would be a good place to start building your organizations.
All right, and that was Camille Morgan. And I would say also, Camille, we do have a list of affiliates on our national website, ncnw.org, and also on our brochure, our section brochure. So those are lists that are our national affiliates, but then we also have other organizations that may not be our affiliates that we still can work with as well. So we do have members. I want to say we have a member of each sorority in our in our section, aka Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, myself, also the Eastern Stars, Zeta. I think we have a few Zetas in, and also Sigma Gamma Rho. So you can reach out to any of your members that the members are in the section and get some of those organizations as well. So do anybody have any specific or questions on the bills? Or any questions about how we can start the phone log? Okay. All right. Do any of our guests have anything, Ms. Moselle?
Yes, as soon as the script is ready, I'm definitely interested in helping with the phone banking in a delicate way to talk with our Black women in Durham.
Yes.
We had 11,728 that did not cast their vote during the election.
Yes.
And I also shared this with our section in a report to see if anyone else might be interested in helping with that phone banking. And I say again, a delicate way to reach out. And I have, if it's okay, I don't know, President McLean, if you need it, but the website to reach your legislator, I want to put it in your chat box if it's okay.
Yes, ma'am, please. Yes, ma'am.
Also, the website to track some of these bills. You can go out and track these bills and see the status. I want to make sure that's okay with Chairperson Sutton as well.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay.
And also email that to me too, Ms. Moselle. That way I can also post it.
I definitely will, but in the chat, find your legislator is the first one, and then ncleg.gov. I just enjoy it myself, but see, I have a passion for this, and some people might think I'm just a little too persistent, I think it's the word, but then my chapter appreciates it. My first vice, and also my president, they tell me all the time how much they appreciate my sharing information. So I'll continue until they tell me to stop.
Please do not stop. Do not stop. And let me just tell you about when you said very delicately calling those Black women who were registered and did not vote. I make sure that everybody understands that your voting record is public information anyway. Okay. I I looked up people in in a lot of organizations I'm in. Uh, I look up people in my church. I want to know who I'm associating with, if they're actually a voter, if they're participating. You know, if I want to bring people on a committee to help me with voter registration, well, I need to make sure that you're registered yourself, right? But
Right.
letting people know all this information is public. And but that's why I haven't sent that out yet, Moselle. We want to make sure that we have the right script, and we're also in the process of doing another phone bank right now, calling those voters who were removed. A lot of those voters we aren't able to reach. A lot of phone numbers were disconnected, and some people actually have moved out. Last time we did this, we found a lot of people, they still had people who had died on the list that they haven't taken off. They even had people on the list who had not missed voting, not one time. And we're trying to figure out, how did they get on this list? But it's easy if the Board of Elections is sending you a piece of mail that I think is junk mail, and I don't look at a lot of junk mail. So it's easy to miss the mailings, but those are two very good actions that we can do. And we've sent mailed postcards. We had a group of young kids, teenagers, actually doing their own postcard in their own handwriting. And they were, we provided them with the address. And that was a good project because it was an educational piece for those teenagers too.
Well,
And
thank
just,
you, Ms.
I just want to
Thank-
go on the record to say that for Moselle, don't stop.
Okay. All right, Madam President.
And I agree. I second that. I just want to mention, Ms. Sutton, I definitely appreciate it. That's the main thing I loved the most was about when you said the bills we need to support. Because I know we always talk about the bills we need to be against. But it's also important to know about the bills we need to support.
Yes.
Because in this, especially in this environment we're in now, it's important to know what we need to be looking for.
Right. And if you're paying any attention to what's happening in DC, it's hard to get anything done. And to me, that just shows the need for those 233 Black women here in North Carolina to vote. I mean, we have to get more people voting, because if you had more good candidates out running and winning, we could change. We could have the For the People Act right now. We could have the George Floyd policing bill right now enacted, but you've got to have the people who are voting and electing people. And I know we're a nonpartisan organization, but we understand what is happening on the national and state level. And as long as we understand it, and we know how important it is for us to get people registered and voting, then, we've done our job then. But so many people, they've given up. But we can never give up. We just can't. We have to keep fighting.
Thank you, Ms. Sutton. I appreciate this information. One of the things I do like what you said is not only just getting them registered, but we have to get them voting. And we have to also push the importance of our local elections, not just the presidency, but we have to push our local elections.
Oh, yes.
So I thank you so much for coming. You're more than welcome to stay on. And ladies, my AGS, please make sure that you contact this young lady. We also need members to work on our civil engagement for the state, to also get information out. We also need to work locally to know what is going on in the Alamance and Guilford area. So again, thank you, Miss Linda Sutton. Thank
You're
you, Miss
welcome.
Robinson, Miss Terry for coming on, Miss Sandra, thank you for coming on, and we hope to see you
Yeah.
again. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
and I'm
Anybody
gonna
else
say
from
goodbye.
AGS?
Thank
Ma'am?
you.
I'm gonna say, take care. See you later.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm about
I
to get
too.
off too.